So the Prime Minister's called this evening for an election. He wants an election on the 15th of October. He claims that's the only way to sort of break the deadlock. The opposition have seen this as a trap because they have effectively saying, well, Prime Minister, we don't believe you, and if we vote for an election and allow Parliament to basically be dissolved, then we think you'll just move the election date to after the time when the UK will have left the EU, and then the UK will crash out. So they're not going to vote for it this evening, but I think basically all roads are leading to an election. Jeremy Corbyn, the opposition leader, has said he will vote for an election once the legislation has been passed and received royal assent, so no deal can't happen. So either it will happen that way, or the government could even actually end up calling a vote of no confidence in themselves, which just requires a simple majority of the House of Commons, and then you end up with a general election. So it is very, very strange times, very confusing, but ultimately I think we're heading for a general election in mid-October one way or the other. So the suggestion seems to be that the government effectively allowed the Stephen Kinnock amendment through the House of Commons unopposed. The Stephen Kinnock amendment effectively tries to bring back Theresa May's deal that she negotiated with the European Union and have another debate about it on the floor of the House of Commons. And the reason it seems that they've done that is because that now allows the House of Lords to try and take that out of the bill, which then means that the bill can't receive royal assent before the end of this week, because it would then have to go back to the House of Commons as an amended bill and for discussion on Monday. So it's basically a way of running down the clock, and the government have pulled a sort of conventional tactic to try and run down the clock and make sure Parliament is suspended before this bill actually makes it through. I have never known a time when British politics has been like this. I've been working in Westminster for nearly 20 years, and this is totally unprecedented.
I think that was something that needed to be said to the Prime Minister, that somebody in such a position of power, that they've got to realise that words have consequences. When someone says something, especially if it's incendiary comments, that has a direct impact on other people's lives. And I thought that his response on both counts, one, he did not apologise for his racist and derogatory and divisive remarks, and secondly, when I asked him, because he promised on national television, along with his Chancellor, that there would be an independent inquiry into Islamophobia within the Conservative Party. We are still waiting as yet, and there was no response on that regard either. We, first of all, want to get that no deal Brexit scenario off the table, because businesses in my own Slough constituency, we're a huge business hub. We've got more multinational corporate headquarters in Slough than the whole of Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland put together. Those businesses, and as well as the unions and others, are saying that this will have a devastating, catastrophic impact on their business activity. So that's the first priority, and thereafter, I think in the fullness of time, we will be taking things back to the people, and I look forward to getting rid of this shambolic mess of a government.